Hello and thanks for joining us on Nationwide. I am Dennis Adegunloye. It was a sight to behold at the National Arcade, Abuja, as Vice President Kashim Shettima represented President Bola Tinubu to mark the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jabrilla reports that the file passed in the laying of wreaths by top government officials were the climax.
Vice President Kashim Shettima arrived at the National Arcade to honor the legacy of the fallen heroes who paid the ultimate sacrifice to ensure peace and security, then celebrating the living legends.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here live at the National Arcade for the year 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day Parade.
Prayers were offered for the repose of the souls of the deceased and for continued peace and security to prevail in the country.
Heavenly Father, we commit the President and all leaders of our nation, both civil and military, into your hands. Grant them wisdom, courage, and integrity to lead with justice, compassion, and accountability.
Implore you, Allah, to make paradise with their last abode and to continue to care for their family members, being their absolute guide into the right way.
Now, O God, heal Nigeria. Heal our anger with understanding. Heal our divisions with one patriotic love.
Laying of wreath led by Vice President Kashim Shettima, Senate President and Deputy Speaker House of Representatives, Chief Justice of the Federation, Ministers, Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs, and the Inspector General of Police, among others. Firing of 3 volleys by the firing party and release of pigeons marks the end of the Remembrance Day, rounding the event off with national salutes. Though brief, less than an hour, but the memories will last long. From the National Arcade in Abuja, Abdurrahman Jabrilla, NTA News.
Well, the parades fade and the crowds disperse. Yet for veterans and the families of fallen heroes, Remembrance is not a single day. Defense correspondent Olajide Bello reports on the enduring impact of this year's celebration and the promises that must outlast the applause.
After the speeches and salutes, a critical question remains: what changes for those who served? For many Nigerian veterans, the days following the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day bring a familiar quiet. Their homes become informal support networks where camaraderie and shared experience provide a crucial buffer against isolation and neglect.
We still have some of our benefits, the one called group life insurance benefit, which they say it has been hanging with the Ministry of Defense. My husband died going to 10 years now. We have children in training, we have to feed, upkeep is there. That money has not been paid.
For others, the psychological wounds, the unseen scars of conflict persist long after the parades have ended, requiring support systems that are often stretched thin or inaccessible.
Life is dynamic, change is constant. We have realized that we're only remembering all those who are passed on and forgetting those who are living. And that's what we made it that is critical. We celebrate those who are alive so that you know that their sweat is not forgotten. And then while we also remember those who are passed on, including those who are injured.
By the time this program is over, what next, which you have asked, is that there would be additional pool of resources to support families of foreign heroes, families of frontline serving officers. They are serving the nation. They are taking bullets.
Their post-service lives are a continuous testament to duty demanding a national commitment that must endure long after the last wreath is laid. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Defence has reiterated its commitment to placing more premium on access to accessible healthcare services for both serving and retired officers. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Richard Filangwa, made this known at the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day voluntary blood donation drive. Here again is Defence correspondent Olajide Bello.
Another gathering of veterans still in the spirit of the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day 2026. And this time around, I came across Master Warrant Officer Mogaji Abdullahi, who hung his boot in 2019 after 35 years of service. For him, post-service life comes with some challenges personnel are not usually used to while in service.
If you look at the condition of living today in Nigeria, you can see things are not just easy. So they really need to look into the housing side of it.
The government can liaise with this legion and say, okay, the retirees that are into farming, come and take subsidized fertilizer through your legion arm.
Either having a roof over one's head or engaging in agricultural practices. Health, they say, is wealth. This is what birthed the voluntary blood donation drive through Partnership for Veterans to be able to access blood free of charge.
The Armed Forces Celebration is a yearly thing, and I think for this purpose, it's going to finish with this. But after that, I think we have some other outlets that deal with such issues. Like I've just confirmed now, the HMO, they have, if the veterans register with them, they have medical facility for life.
Actually, before you get this free treatment, you have to register with Defense Health Maintenance, whereby they create a number for you. Is that number you will now take to any hospital you register with.
Appreciating our fallen heroes, we try to donate blood, stack up blood banks so that we can support families of the fallen heroes and people in dire need for blood.
The song on the lips of the veterans, just like Oliver Twist, is as they appreciate the federal government, more still needs to be done for a blissful post-service life. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
On its part, the House of Representatives has reaffirmed commitment to supporting policies, legislation and oversight that strengthen the welfare, capacity and professionalism of the armed forces in the quest for a secure and peaceful Nigeria for all citizens. House spokesman Akin Rotimi, in a statement to mark this year's Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day, says the Green Chamber honours the gallantry, discipline and dedication of Nigeria's military personnel, particularly in confronting terrorism and banditry, as well as protecting Nigeria's territorial integrity. And Nigeria's Armed Forces and Celebration and Remembrance Day has reignited the national debate on the need to move beyond the ceremonial honours to meaningful support for veterans and serving personnel. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria stressed that while parades and tributes are important, greater emphasis must be placed on addressing the insecurity and improving the welfare of men and women of the armed forces. Thomas Ogbetere reports.
As Nigeria marks the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day, the spotlight must extend beyond ceremonial parades to the enduring responsibility of honoring and caring for the nation's veterans and serving officers through adequate welfare, healthcare, housing, and timely benefits that reflects the nation's gratitude. These were the submissions of guests on Good Morning Nigeria, who emphasized that honoring veterans must go beyond ceremonies to empowering them, sustained welfare, healthcare, housing, and timely benefits in recognition of their sacrifice.
Veterans that fought the Economic War, those ones still alive, they just gave them a land, and which they've even come to me and said I should help them to thank the Mr. President because they've applied and begged for this for long, and this one just came in now.
When you look at Sierra Leone that I've been to, and of course Liberia, there is no 100 square kilometers where there is no blood or sweat of a Nigerian soldier. Absolutely. Talk less of, coming here, the unfortunate civil war, and of course the security challenges. So
it's a profession where people join, not because of monetary entitlement, but because they want to defend fellow citizens and also defend their country. So the only return that the country and people can do is to also show respect for the sacrifice of those that have decided to serve in the uniform.
Guests also believe that there is urgent need for sustainable policies, adequate funding and accountability mechanism that ensure long-term care, security and reintegration for those who have served, noting that only by marching west with action can Nigeria truly uphold the value of sacrifice, service and national unity. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbeteri, NTA News.
Security is not just sustained by arms alone, but by justice, good governance and the people's trust. These words echoed as Oyo State joined the rest of the country to honor the sacrifices of gallant officers and men who protected the nation with their blood and sweat. Grace Ayonleke reports.
The reason why we are living today is because they have lost their lives. Because of you and myself, they died. For this reason, we just have to remember them.
Ceremony, our husband will then die. We say thank God.
From historic battles to today's complex security operations, the courage of the armed forces has remained the thin line between peace and chaos. Against the backdrop of evolving security challenges, the Oyo State government reaffirmed its resolve to support the armed forces and strengthen civil-military cooperation across the state.
It is not time to play the blame game. Our officers and men, they are up to the task. And for us as an administration, we will continue to give the necessary support.
With wreath laid and prayers offered for fallen officers and men of the Nigerian armed forces, heroes who stood in the face of danger to defend Nigeria's unity and constitutional order, Oyo State stood still, remembering the fallen, saluting the living, and renewing its commitment to peace. In Ibadan, Grace Ayonleke, NTA News.
And standing by in Ibadan to bring us up to speed on the commitments of the Oyo State government to boosting civil-military relations for enhanced security is Grace Ayonleke. Hello, Grace. Can you fill us in on the celebration this year?
Yes, it is a solemn day of honor and national reflection for those at the front line of today's security challenges, especially in the face of recent threats in Oyo State. The Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, in commemorating the day, has promised to further strengthen the security architecture of the state, while calling on residents to appreciate the sacrifices of the gallant officers and men who lay down their lives for our peace, reiterating that security is a collective responsibility and national unity remains Nigeria's strongest defense.
Grace, many thanks for giving us that lowdown on how the celebrations went there in Ibadan. Many thanks.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, now following credible intelligence reports linking a building harboring criminals in Okene, Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has ordered the immediate demolition of the structure, popularly known as Sambel Joints, in Idoji community, Okene, local government area of Kogi State. Let's get details from Ajibola Christopher.
The action was carried out by relevant state agencies following sustained surveillance and intelligence gathering, which revealed that the joint had become a haven for criminals, posing security threat to residents and commuters within the area. Governor Dodo says investigation revealed that the demolished property, which belongs to the state government, had been overtaken by criminals. whose activities cause fear and unrest in the community.
When we discover that the activities going on here is giving our people unrest, so we have to take a bold decision to secure our people, because that is part of what I have signed to do. And as I've said, I will never negotiate with any criminal. I will never negotiate with any criminal. I will take that fight to them wherever they are. So we are here to carry out this exercise so that our people can sleep with their two eyes closed.
The governor further assures law-abiding citizens of the state government's continued commitment to safeguarding lives and property, urging residents to cooperate with security agencies by providing timely and credible information. Ajibola Christopher, NT News.
President Bola Tinubu sends warm greetings to the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, on his birthday today. In a statement through his special advisor, Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu describes the minister as a consummate statesman and distinguished public servants whose imprints are evidence in the achievements of the current Renewed Hope administration, bringing innovation to the agriculture sector. The president prays for continued good health, renewed strength and courage for Kyari to realize his dream of food sufficiency for the nation. All right, let's take our first ports of call. That will be Lagos, and Adiola will be our guide. Hello, Adiola.
Thank you, Dennis. The Lagos state government says the courage and sacrifices of Nigeria's servicemen and women must never be taken for granted, stressing that their welfare and that of their families remain a shared responsibility of government and society. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented by his deputy, disclosed this at the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day Parade and Wrist Lane ceremony in Lagos. S.A. Owamaka reports.
It's that time of the year, and once again, Nigeria is celebrating its veterans and remembering fallen heroes whose sacrifices continue to keep nation united and safe. In Lagos State, the inspection of the guard by the Deputy Governor, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, alongside the gallant parade performance, set the tone for the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration at the Tafawa Balewa Square. Acknowledging the commitment of the armed forces to national unity and security, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat emphasized the need to prioritize the welfare of the families of fallen heroes as well as veterans who are still alive.
The nation is behind them, and that we are praying for them, and that we will do everything that it takes to always support them. Because they are fighting, they are risking their life to protect all of us, so we must do everything that it takes.
For the chairman of the Nigerian Legion, Lagos State Council, Olawale Wolimo, the government has continued to intensify efforts to improve the welfare of military personnel and widows of fallen heroes, but he noted that more still needs to be done.
It used to be a kind of empowerment arrangement whereby some people will be trained and empowered, and that doesn't make things, the donation of the government or the governor to go round. So the widows themselves told me that they would prefer a situation whereby, even if it is once in a year, we will organize a kind of a palliative sharing where everybody will benefit from anything that the government has provided.
The colorful ceremony featured a 21-gun salute, the release of pigeons, and the laying of wreaths in honor of departed heroes. In Lagos, S.A. Owamaka, NT News.
Whether brave, bold, dead or alive, their calling is beyond gallantry. It is patriotism at its finest, for God and country. As the nation honors men and women most worthy of their service, Lane Nanake reflects on the bond that exists among the armed forces and other sister security agencies beyond the uniform.
Gallantry, service, exemplary leadership, and post-service to the development of the nation are what the men of the armed forces stand for. The recent renaming of the observance to the Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day captures and better reflects its dual purpose, which speaks to the fact that the armed forces are engaging enemies of the state in different theaters of operations. Beneath all of this lies the brotherhood and esprit de corps that exists among the men of the armed forces.
Unity of purpose and the love for the country is what binds us together. Because before a man could lay down his life for his country, it means the person loves his country.
The spirit that binds us together should be the same and should be so respected and should be considered as a sacrosanct that we can always bring forward to reenact our unity.
Members of the armed forces came from different backgrounds, ethnicities, religions, languages, and social classes. Yet, once enlisted, personal differences give way to a common identity.
The blood that is inside army, the same thing with Nigerian religion, same thing with Nigerian Navy, and everything. We are going together.
We see ourselves as one because, we just have same energy. What is that energy is to protect life and properties.
The armed forces share bravery, which builds bonds stronger than individual survival instincts. And in the end, brotherhood in the armed forces sends a powerful message to society that despite differences, a shared nation identity can bind people together stronger than uniform, deeper than faith, braver than fear, and greater than duty. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Thank you, Lynn, for that report, and that concludes our contribution on Nationwide.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has pledged renewed commitment to support the armed forces and prioritize welfare of legionnaires in the state. This comes as the governor commended President Bola Tinubu's administration for equipping the nation's armed forces towards efficient service delivery. Kingsley Amaji reports.
This event at Azikboro Park, Port Harcourt marks the climax of 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. From those whose daily preoccupation is to wield arms in tactical operation to the veterans and the families of their colleagues who fell in the cause of protecting the nation, the celebration may not be commensurate to the sacrifices made, but a reminder that the nations appreciate their contributions. Governor Fubara led the State Deputy Governor, Professor Ngozi Odu, and the service commanders to lay wreaths in honor of fallen heroes at the Remembrance Arcade. Governor Fubara sees this occasion as another opportunity to express gratitude to those who make the sacrifice for peace, security, and development of Nigeria.
I reiterate that I will continue to strengthen our relationship with the various military command structure in Rivers State and provide relevant logistical support to enhance the operation and well-being, including efficiency.
From Azikboro Park to Government House Field, where the state chairman of Nigerian Legion, Amangigo, promised to address the guests. For the first time, there was no fresh request from the legionnaires, an indication that the state government is prioritizing their welfare.
Notably, in the launching of the 2026 emblem, this extraordinary kindness of yours has renewed our hope for future.
For the fallen heroes, a day like this is a reminder to the nation and its inhabitants of the sacrifices men of the armed forces pay to ensure the security of the nation. I'm Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
As Nigeria marks the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day, widows of fallen heroes in Port Harcourt have commended the contributions of the Nigerian Army 6th Division towards their welfare. Correspondents who spoke with some of them report that the women also highlighted their challenges.
The military suffered hell of a lot. Immediately after the war,
They were escaping to their various towns and villages. There was no way than to enter a boat without a paddle, using the helmet to pull across the River Niger between Abuja and Ndoni.
Such is the level of sacrifices often made by members of the Nigerian armed forces in the process of protecting the sovereignty of the nation. Hence, the setting aside of a special day to remember their sacrifices. These fallen heroes left behind dependents, wives, children, and they need support. So let's get to hear from these dependents on how it has been since they lost their beloved ones.
It has not been easy at all. It's not easy, but we thank God. If not the army, I don't know how it would have been. They visit us every time with food, money, to know how we are faring.
Especially during the Christmas and New Year celebration, the Nigerian army interceded in aspect of giving us some foodstuffs and the rest.
It never took when my husband died, like 3 months ago.
Major General Emmanuel Emeka is the General Officer commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army. He speaks further on the significance of the day.
The Remembrance Day serves as a solemn reminder that the peace and freedom that we enjoy as a nation comes at a great cost that was paid for with blood, sweat, and lives of some other people. In essence, the armed forces continue to reflect on what binds us together as a nation.
As this year's Armed Forces celebration and Remembrance Day is marked, the families of the fallen heroes are hopeful that the day will continue to deliver their expectations, particularly in the area of sustained welfare. And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Dennis for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you, Dee Barbary. Now, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Nigerian artists who emerged winners at the 9th edition of the All Africa Music Awards, AFRIMA, describing their success as clear proof that Nigeria's music and creative ecosystem continues to grow and gain global respect. The president, in a statement via his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, praised the artists for making the country proud on the continental stage, showing the strength, creativity and resilience of Nigeria's youths, as well as the country's growing influence in African and global music. The artists enjoyed a good outing at the 9th AFRIMA, held from January 7th to 11th, 2026. Similarly, the president congratulates All Progressives Congress stalwarts and former member of the House of Representatives from Kano State, Hafiz Ibrahim Kawu, on his birthday today. Kawu previously served as Special Assistant to the President on economic matters in the Office of the Vice President between 2015 and 2019. The President acknowledges Kawu's young but eventful career in the private sector, public service and politics, urging him to remain steadfast and rededicate himself to serving the nation. To education now. For 16 years, the 2009 agreement between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities was like a ghost that haunted the academic community due to lack of implementation. But as of January 1st, a new document takes flight, the 2025 FGN-ASU agreement, which promises billions in research, a 40% pay bump, and a shield for university autonomy. Zenret Dingmun tells us more.
There have been several others like this. Different committees, different governments, but same grievances. And the question on every mind now is whether this is true transformation or just another temporal ceasefire. But the Ministry of Education assures that the 2025 agreement signed under the Renewed Hope mandate attempts to fix the structural decay as it targets not only issues of welfare, but tackling brain drain and funding for intensive research.
We confronted this 2-decade quagmire squarely
through sustained engagement, fiscal realism, and mutual respect, we have laid a durable foundation for industrial harmony in a federal tertiary education system.
This agreement carries a deeper significance. It represents a shared resolve to break with the past, to replace confrontation with collaboration, and to anchor engagement on trust rather than suspicion.
The agreement updates and consolidates the 2009 framework in line with current realities, improves salary and welfare provisions.
However, a shadow still hovers as ASU insists that systemic failure, university autonomy, and appointment of unqualified persons to lead academic councils must be looked into to avert internal crisis.
We are optimistic that the government will implement in totality this agreement. It is our belief that Dr. Tunji Alausa will be different, that our union will not need to issue a strike threat before any part of this agreement is implemented.
As a 3-year mandatory review cycle has been encapsulated into the law to ensure accountability across institutions and agencies concerned. Zenred Dingon, NT News.
In the meantime, a total of 271 beneficiary institutions that consist of federal and state universities, polytechnics and colleges of education are expected to receive allocations of not less than 1.8 billion naira each this year. Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Sania Chono, announced at a strategic workshop with heads of benefiting institutions on the 2026 disbursement guidelines, which are one of the avenues to receive feedback on spending of the 2025 allocation. The intervention is to strengthen critical physical infrastructure, enhance academic programs, boost research and innovation, and drive overall transformation in Nigeria's tertiary education sector.
Cities will get 2.525 billion naira each. All polytechnics will get 1.871 billion naira each, and all colleges of education will get 2.056 billion naira each. I urge all heads of beneficiary institutions to ensure the full utilization of your 2025 allocations. There is no point giving you additional money if you cannot even utilize the one you already have.
To strengthen the quality and impact of research in the benefiting institutions, the fund has introduced a new intervention line this year, the Nigeria Research and Education Network, NG-REN, to improve access to global academic resources and to integrate the tertiary education, research, applications and services TERAS platform into NG-REN. Elsewhere, the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, says it has commenced a reconciliation exercise to resolve outstanding student upkeep payments amounting to 927.98 million naira, affecting 11,685 beneficiaries nationwide. Managing Director of NELFund, Akintunde Soya, disclosed this in Abuja while providing an update on the performance of the student loan scheme. Olayinka Ojo reports.
In a demonstration of concept turning to reality, stakeholders in the education sector say the student loan has transformed and is still transforming access to education financing, ensuring that no Nigerian student is denied education due to financial constraints.
The federal government have found a way of ensuring their focus remains on their book.
It has given hope, confidence to the citizens.
I've benefited from NELFund, I think, since last year to this year.
Even though the initiative, described as a game changer in Nigeria's education landscape, is breaking down barriers to higher education, some challenges need to be addressed. One of such is the outstanding student upkeep payment discovered following a routine reconciliation conducted at the end of the 2024-2025 academic session. Nelfon says the delay were not as a result of withheld funds or policy failures, but technical and operational challenges.
In line with the President's directive on accountability and efficiency in public service, management has approved a one-time focused reconciliation process to resolve all outstanding cases.
The reconciliation process will be conducted through direct engagement with the students, with prompt payment following once the verification process is completed. The fund's most recent data indicates that it has received more than 1.3 million applications, with 864,798 students benefiting from 263 public institutions. A total of 161.9 billion, comprising 89.94 billion naira, has been paid as institutional fees, while 72.03 billion naira has been disbursed to students as monthly upkeep allowances.
Some of the students are already calling and paying back.
Nelfon says it is guided by the principles of fairness, transparency, efficiency, and accountability. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
All right, so let's now join Wadiam at our Maiduguri Network Center for the next set of reports. Hello, Wadiam.
Hello, Dennis, and welcome to Maiduguri. Borno State government has donated 50 million naira to the Nigerian Legion with an affirmation to continue supporting families of fallen heroes for their sacrifices in defending Nigeria's territorial integrity. Deputy Governor Umar Usman Kadafur gave the assurance at the commemoration of the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day held in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Abubakar Musa reports.
Borno State Chief Registrar of Harcourt to please.
It was indeed a convergence of families of the fallen heroes, as well as high-ranking military and paramilitary officers and government officials to celebrate this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day towards honoring as well as immortalizing soldiers who paid the supreme price while defending Nigeria's territorial integrity, acknowledging the pivotal role the armed forces have continued to play in protecting Nigeria's sovereignty. Borno State Deputy Governor Umar Usman Kadafur highlighted the unwavering support being extended to them by the state government, describing the Armed Forces Remembrance Day as an occasion to appreciate both living and deceased soldiers for their immeasurable contributions in serving their fatherland.
His Excellency has graciously approved the sum of 50 million naira for the 2026 Legion Emblem Week appeal, and also we reiterate our commitment to stand with the fallen heroes' family at all times.
Chairman, Nigerian Legion, Borno State Chapter, Mohammed Tijani said the occasion serves as a beacon of hope for all soldiers and families of the fallen heroes, and applauded the federal as well as state governments for prioritizing issues concerning the armed forces.
We thank the governor. Is our father who take care of this Nigerian Legion and Borno State in general.
The event also featured free medical outreach for participants, as well as parades, salutations, and thundering ovation in honor of the fallen heroes. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
The Borno State High-Powered Committee on the Resettlement of Meirari and Gudumbali, under the chairmanship of the Commissioner for Local Government and Emirates Affairs, Subume Mele, has commenced reopening activities in Meirari, Guzamala local government area of Borno State. Angarjo Anagawa reports.
As part of the exercise, the committee chairman led members of Meirari to inspect the level of preparedness ahead of the resettlement and to hold meeting with the officer commanding of Meirari military camp, Lieutenant Colonel A.A. Jimo, who briefed the committee on the security situation and the mission of the army personnel in the area. Sugume Mele stated that Governor Babagana Marzulum has directed the committee to compile a list of displaced persons currently taking refuge in Mongonu and Gajiram who are willing to voluntarily return and resettle in Meirari.
The attention His Excellency
given to Mairari is different from that of Buji. Brigadier General Amir was there, Chairman Mobar was there. They can bear me witness. The one of Mairari is more dear to his heart.
Lieutenant Colonel A.A. Jimo had earlier informed the committee that on 8 and 12 December 2025, troops under his command successfully repelled multiple terrorist attacks, resulting in the neutralization of many insurgents, adding that their operations have denied terrorists freedom of action in the area. Secretary of the committee, Musa Tijani, reiterated that the visit was in line with the governor's directive to assess the availability of basic social amenities in Mairari and to compile the names of displaced persons willing to return from Mongonu and Gajiram. In Maiduguri, Angarju, Anagawa, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Maiduguri.
Welcome to Jos. As the nation stands still to honor its fallen heroes and those who stand in defense of the nation, key players in Jos call for more commitment to the welfare of serving personnel and the families of the fallen. Ijoma Ozomina reports.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Day is a solemn national moment to honor the courage, sacrifices, patriotism, and supreme price paid by the fallen and living heroes. Driven by this concern, the reflections of the day centered on evaluating activities of the armed forces, the discipline, loyalty, and unwavering commitment to pursue justice, peace, and unity.
The government is supporting us very well because they pay us when due. So I hope there's no problem. What we need more improvement from the government.
It's because of them that we are moving very free. So honestly, it's good to remember them every year. So we thank the state government, the federal government for the support it has given to the Nigerian Legion.
Plateau State Governor, represented by the Deputy Governor, Josephine Pugh, State Chief Judge, General Officer commanding 3 Division and Commander Operation Enduring Peace, Commissioner of Police and Veterans, among others, laid wreaths in honor of the departed heroes. The event featured ceremonial gun salute to honor fallen and serving members and the release of white pigeons, symbolizing peace and freedom. The day also honors veterans of World War I and II, as well as the Nigerian Civil War. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
That's the size of our contribution from Jos. It's back to Dennis in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Bill Kisu. All right, let's now cross over to Kano, where our correspondent Aminu Umar is standing by to give us insight into the third phase of the Wudil-Huguma Highway project currently ongoing over there. Hello, Aminu, what can you tell us? What's the update?
Thank you, Dennis. The road in question is Wudil-Huguma Road in Kano State. And the length of the road is and the length of the road is 106 kilometers. The length is not even the most important thing, but the critical importance of the road economically to both the northwestern region, northwest of Nigeria, and then northeast of Nigeria, because it provides a link between Kano, the commercial city of the northwest, and the states of northeastern part of Nigeria. And also, it also provides a link to some north central states, because if you go from Wudil to Huguma, it gives you a link from that axis to Gwaram, Basirka in Jigawa State, and then proceeding to states like Gombe. And if you follow to Konar Huguma, the other route, it leads you to Bauchi, and then you can also take that alternative as alternative route to Jos. It is the route that provide that support a lot of economic activities. The trucks that are carried, yes. that are carrying goods from those states to Kano, where we have in Kano the international grains market that is mopping agricultural produce. And so
very much, Armenia. I think we've got the size. We've got the size of the project there. Clearly, a very important project, and we certainly look forward to its completion. Thank you, Armenia. Now, Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has commended the Nigerian national team, the Super Eagles, for representing Nigeria with pride and dignity at the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations. The minister, in a statement, said even in defeat, the team showed character, teamwork, and resilience, and those qualities matter deeply to the nation they represent. Football, he noted, has its highs and lows, but their effort, commitment, and fighting spirits throughout the tournament have earned them respect and gratitude of Nigerians at home and abroad. He had added that Nigerians that wearing the green and white is about courage, unity, and never giving up. And it's with that we conclude Nationwide. Many thanks for watching. On behalf of the production crew, I am Dennis Adigunloye.